My father raised me and literally always instilling me, you can literally do anything you want. You can do anything you want. You're very capable. You can do anything you want since I was young. So I never thought otherwise. Now, life was difficult and things did go down. I'm not trying to make it easy because it wasn't easy. But if you can get over the hard parts, things get easier. Hard parts are no longer hard.
Hello and welcome. You've landed on Zero Limits Living. I'm Dr. Joe Vitale. Every week, I bring you inspiration and information to transform your life. This show is now so popular, you can see it or listen to it on 1,000 platforms across the galaxy, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and probably anything you can name and anything you're using right now. I'm putting all the shows in one place for your ease. You can pack a lunch and go and binge at ZeroLimitsLivingTV.com, ZeroLimitsLivingTV.com. A few things to get out of the way. Check out my coaching program, miraclescoaching.com. Check out my new program called mentaltimetravel.system.com. Check out my new book, latest book, Unexpected Kindness. It's at unexpectedkindnessbook.com. And I'm speaking fast and going through those sites fast because I want to get to the heart of the matter. Today is special. Today, I have a unique guest, somebody that I haven't gotten to talk to since I began this show. And I began this show because of her. What I'm talking about is a powerhouse superwoman. She is the CEO of Luxe Enterprises, which, get this, includes Luxe Media, Luxe Life Magazine, Luxe Media Studios, Luxe Life Vodcast. She's also the founder of the Women of Achievement Awards. She's also the producer of this show, Zero Limits Living. And she's the author of a brand new book called Believing Before Seeing. And I'm talking about the one and only Candice Bar. Candice, come on stage.
Hello, Dr. Joe. I'm so excited to be on.
Well, you're excited all the time. You're always radiant. You're just got this high voltage. Is that one of your secrets to success? Is that how come you got so many businesses going and
lots of happiness, and I have a great team. I have a great team.
Yeah. Was it always that way? What was it like in the beginning when you were a kid? Were you going to be a powerhouse superwoman, or were you going to make mud pies in the kitchen? Or what did you want to do as a child?
I come from a family of small business owners or entrepreneurs. I think I'm like fifth or sixth generation entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of raised in that kind of mindset. So I do think that was always kind of in the works somewhere.
Right. And so you learned early on, you got to model it probably unconsciously. You didn't even know what they were doing, but they were going to work from home,
Yeah.
and you gathered that. When did you first get the bug? When did you think did you open a lawn care business, or when you were 10 years old, or, the lemonade stand, the traditional thing? What did you do first?
Thinking back, actually, we did, of course, have the lemonade stands. And then me and my sister always on the weekends, my grandparents had this old trailer in the front, away from the house. So we'd make that into a store, and we're selling erasers and pens and pencils and learning marketing very quickly.
At what age were you doing that?
6, 7, 8.
Are you serious?
Very young. Yeah.
Most people are not doing that at 6 or 7. You know that, right? When did it dawn on you that you were different?
I don't know. I think later in life, I think as a kid, I didn't think I was different because, again, both my parents had their own businesses. My grandparents had their own businesses. My great-grandparents, who I knew, had their own businesses.
Wow.
So, and I was raised, after school, you were going to one of the shops. So you're going to be with one of them. So you're not home alone. And so I was counting money for people and ringing people up and doing inventory and these things I was doing at a very young age, just not knowing where that would go.
This is amazing. I don't know that I've ever talked to anybody who had the entrepreneurial background and spirit and training when they were, preschool.
Mm,
5, 6, 7, and you were, it didn't pass me that you said you were selling erasers and pencils and stuff. Those are necessities. It
mhm.
wasn't like you were selling air. You actually were selling something people valued. Do you think you thought about that? Did
I
you really
didn't, and I actually honestly haven't thought about it till right now. So
you know,
you made me go back.
well, it's good. I want to go back because I want to find out where we all started, each of the guests. And you're such a powerhouse and you've got so many noteworthy successes and all this line of businesses that you're doing. And my show and your new book, this is incredible.
Thank
And you're a
you.
young woman. So this is just fantastic. And I have to go back to find out what started all of this.
Yeah, you made me really think. I really haven't thought about that in a very long time. So
Well, there's another aspect to this, though, because, I think we need a blend to be able to survive in a healthy way in the world. Meaning, we need business, we need the marketing, but we also need what I call metaphysics. We need the inside and the outside. And I'm
yes.
bringing it up because you have a balance of both. And I'm also curious, when did you start to get interested in, believing before seeing and vibration and energy and metaphysics and crystals? And when
Mm.
did that all come about?
Again, not haven't really thought about it, but real thinking back when this started, I would say I moved to California really young by myself. So I moved to LA from the East Coast. I think I was 18, 19. By
Wow.
myself. I came with $600 in one suitcase. And I did not come from a super wealthy family. So there was no calling back home for help. My parents were like, we love you. And, once you leave the house, you leave the house. And that's
Wow.
it. So, and that's
Wow.
kind of, and I just always had this very deep connection, I would call it. And I just had a knowing. I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult, but I'm gonna be okay. I just knew it.
I believe you, but I got chills going up and down my spine. You left to go to LA with 600 bucks in a suitcase.
Yes.
That is bold. That
And I
is
only had
courageous.
$600 because I sold my car to get
And you
there.
sold your and you sold your car. Uh, did you have a vision? Why in the world did you leave wherever you were in the East to go to all the way to, what could be the dream city or the nightmare city, depending on what's going on,
Yes.
but to
Yes.
LA? What propelled you? Do you have a vision, a mission, something happened?
I just knew I wanted to go. So my family's from the East Coast. My dad's side of the family's from New York. I was raised in New Hampshire. And I wanted to go somewhere where none of my family was and no one could help me if and when things went down. I wanted to make it difficult. I wanted to make it difficult.
Why?
Because my
Why?
thought
We got
process,
wait a minute. Why? Why would you most people want to make it easy.
no, I wanted to make it difficult because my thought
Why?
process was if I can make it there by myself, I can literally do anything.
I think Frank Sinatra wrote a song about you. If I can make it there, I can make it
Make it
anywhere. I think
anywhere.
that but he was referring to New York. He
And
didn't
it
dare talk
was,
about LA.
trust me, Dr. Joe, it was difficult. So I'm not trying to, it was difficult.
I I
Um,
I can only imagine.
it was very difficult.
So you decided to go there because it would be hard,
Yes.
and you wanted the hard. This is like people who enroll in the Ironman or any of the marathon and the crazy version of the Olympics, but you're doing it as a life experience. It's not an athletic event for the weekend. You did this jumping in to challenge yourself.
I think that's
Yeah,
the really great thing about being young because you really have, I remember thinking, well, I have nothing to lose.
right.
And, I'm whatever, 18, 19. I can bounce back. Whatever happens, I can bounce back.
Who instilled that belief? That is a belief that is worth having, but somebody where'd that come from?
My father is really
Mhm,
great. I knew my great grandparents very well. So my great
mhm,
grandparents are really great. My grandparents, everyone had this mentality of you can literally. My father growing up, and my father raised me, and
mhm.
literally always instilling me. You can literally do anything you want. You can do anything you want. You're very capable. You
Wow,
can do anything you
wow,
want. Since I was young, so I
wow.
never thought otherwise.
Mhm.
Now, life was difficult and things did go down. I'm not trying to make it easy because it wasn't easy. But if you can get over the hard parts the easy part, things get easier. Hard parts are no longer hard.
Yeah. But how do you get past those hard parts? Do you feel like sharing a couple? I don't want to traumatize you or have you go into therapy here, but it may be. This is my whole role for doing this show. Thanks to you, Zero Limits Living is to inspire people, and your story may inspire somebody not to run away from home, but to be able to get through whatever their challenges are right now. Do you feel like sharing a story or two about
Trying to think,
what you went through?
sometimes there's a part in life, we're bouncing around here a little bit, but there's a part here in life where I had literally $40 to my name, and that was like, that's it. That was it. And I had to figure it out. I had to figure it out. I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm here, so I clearly did figure it out. But at the time, even though that time is very difficult and very hard and
Mm.
extremely stressful, and you can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel when you're in it. But I just knew nothing lasts forever, and nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. And I always knew that, even though it may have lasted longer than I wanted it to, or I sometimes don't want that to happen at all. But it's happening, and it's a part of your story and journey, and you will get through it.
That is a very mature and wise way of looking at it. Did you have that mature, wise way of looking at it while you were in it?
I don't, again, I was young, very young. So I don't know if when I was in it, I had that thought process on it, but I did know something is going to shake out in my favor. That I did know.
Yeah,
This is going to shake out in my favor.
yeah. And obviously it did. When you got there to LA and you sold your car and everything, did you know anybody? Did you have a slip of paper with a phone number on it? Did you have a connection? Were you
I knew one person here. We had lived together for a little bit, and then I went out on my own.
wow. What did you
Yeah.
do first? Did you open another store and sell erasers or what? what-
So at the time, when I moved to LA, of course, I don't know where you're from. Actually, would like to get your story, but of course, when you leave where you're from, pretty much everyone, but besides a few people, are like, "You're not going to make it. You're not going to
Yeah.
make it." Blah blah. And then I do remember thinking at the time, which I'm glad I did think like that, not listen to those people. I remember thinking, this is the maximum that you see here. But I know there's a much bigger world out there, and I'm excited to go check that out.
Wow.
So I'm
Wow.
hearing information from people who only know what they know in that space.
Candice, that is huge. That is a huge statement of wisdom. Most people do not have it, let alone have it when they're going through the struggle, when they're
Mm,
going through the nightmare of the moment, the night of the soul, dark night of the soul, whatever the phrase
mm.
is. How did you do that? Is that going with your programming? I call it programming because you heard it over and over again from your
Yes.
father. You saw it from your grandparents. Most people don't have that.
And again, I have to say, like, my parents and grandparents were great. I also, again, I have to say, like, I had a very deep spiritual knowing, like,
Yeah.
it's very difficult. It's very hard. You're gonna have like major breakdowns. I always say, if you haven't had at least four breakdowns in your life, you're not successful. At least four.
Right,
So,
right. That's the
and so,
curriculum. You have to
yes,
collapse
yes.
4 times.
And sometimes it's very painful and very difficult. But I just knew, like, it's okay. I'm gonna be okay. I'm like, just give me time, give me a little bit. It's gonna be okay.
And obviously it's okay, but there must have been bumps in the road besides $40.
Oh my goodness. That's one of many, 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 many stories, Joe. Like, there's so many.
Right. Well, I'm looking for
It's not all it's absolutely, especially when you're an entrepreneur. It's not all flowers and roses. As a matter of fact, it's usually quite difficult.
yeah.
But then once you get used to things being difficult, again, then it becomes easier. You have less emotional, not everything requires an emotional attachment to it.
Mhm.
And the less you can detach from things emotionally and just get through the thing, just do the thing, you can get through it faster and faster, as you know, and then you can get to the good stuff.
Get to the good stuff. Well, I think Buddha had said life is suffering, but as soon as you had accepted that it was suffering, it was no longer suffering.
Mm.
It's a mindset shift, and I'm hearing some of that, like you're a female Buddha right now. I'm hearing some of that come out of your mouth. So there's a maturity and a wisdom that apparently was there early on that helped you get through these dark nights.
Mm.
So let's also think of the people that are watching or listening to this Zero Limits Living show. If they are struggling right now as an entrepreneur, or I always try to imagine there's a woman in Iowa sitting on the couch. She has 2 kids. She's unemployed. She has dreams. She's listening to the show for hope. What would you tell them? What would you tell her?
Dream bigger. Don't just dream big, dream bigger. Nothing at all is out of reach. Nothing at all. Keep focused on what you want. Don't let anyone knock you off your course.
Well, that's huge. That's wild. That's fantastic. That is well said. I'm also imagining as the devil's advocate here, I'm representing the
Mm.
devil for a moment, that they're thinking, yeah, that's easy for you to say, Candice. You're talking to Joe Vitale. You're already a success. You have all of these businesses. You were groomed for success from the beginning. Your parents kind of programmed you for that, and you modeled your grandparents. It's easy for you, says the woman sitting on the sofa, unemployed with 2 kids.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, like I said, I went through a lot of life difficulty, and what you're seeing the outcome of a lot of life difficulty.
That's
This
a
is the
great
outcome.
answer. Yeah.
So you're only seeing the outcome, and we're still, we're still building, we're still growing, and there's still things going on. Life is not without things happening. So I get to talk to Joe Vitale because I did the work of the hard things.
Yeah.
I get to talk to these people. I get to be in certain rooms because I did the work of the hard things. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, that is so beautifully said, Candace. I got chills. Really, you were electrocuting me over here. I'm hearing these statements come from you. You are sitting here now and you have this roster of success, CEO, speaker, author, philanthropist. I mean, all of these different things that I read earlier and others that I didn't get a chance to read because you did the challenges and you went through the dark nights and you did all the hard things. So you can sit here in a place where we can all admire and be inspired by. And at the same time, what I'm hearing is you're not done.
We're not done. And again,
Yeah.
I'm going to reiterate, there's still things going on.
There's still things going on. Well, Candace, I want to hear your opinion about this. I think the number one mistake people make when they get into self-improvement, they watch the movie The Secret, they hear about the law of attraction, they hear about the power of visualization, they see Oprah talking about, hey, have a vision board. The number one mistake they make is thinking they will never have a problem again.
So,
They think, yeah, go ahead.
when they say it's not more money, more problems, your problems just look different at that point.
Yeah.
Problems never, don't ask for no more problems. Just ask for ways to get around them faster or go through them quicker or handle them emotionally better because it's going to happen. The higher you go, the more stuff you go through. That's across the board with anyone I know who has major success.
Just I'm so impressed. I'm almost speechless listening to you talk about all of this from this wise place. And I can't help but wonder too, is all of this in your new book?
I will say, so this is the book. I'm really
Yes,
excited.
Believing Before Seeing. Looks fantastic. I want my
Yay.
autographed copy.
Dr. Joe, actually, we're very blessed and honored. I have to find this. We have a forward from Dr. Joe. So we're so blessed and honored for the forward. Thank you, Dr. Joe, for that.
Of course, thank you for asking.
The book is really, I think it was a lifetime in the making without me knowing it, because I
Right.
actually always used to say, I'll never write a book. I'll never write a book. Everybody has a book. Every entrepreneur, it's the new business card. Everybody has a book. And I always used to say it's recycled information, which sometimes it is. But
Mhm.
I think everything is timing. So, and sometimes it depends on who you're hearing it from. You could hear the same thing over and over again from, let's say, your husband, and it doesn't resonate because he's too close. But someone else says the same exact sentence, and it really resonates with you because it's just someone else. It's timing, it's the person, it's when you're ready and open to receive things. So it's a lot of different aspects. So a lot of the information are things that I have learned through my mentors through my life, because I've had some awesome mentors. My book is dedicated to a mentor I had when I was younger that passed away, that she taught me so much. She was in Mary Kay, and she's the first person to teach me energy manipulation, energy bending, things that were not about
Yeah.
products.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it.
So I've been very blessed. Like, she was amazing. And then after her, I had many other amazing mentors that I either paid mentors or mentors that they didn't even know they were my mentor. And I didn't know at the time they were my mentor. But I learned so much from so many different people. So yes, recycled information is great. But I also think there's a lot of new information from me in here as well.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, so as I was saying, I never set out to write a book, because I always thought, I don't want to write a book about myself. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to write another book about business. But this book, literally, I wasn't thinking about it. It wasn't on my radar. It came to me in a dream. The title of the book came to me in a dream. I was talking to someone, I don't know who I was talking to in my dream, and they said, It's believing before seeing." And I said, "No, it's seeing, see it, believe it." And they corrected me. They said, "No, it's believing before seeing." And I said,
Oh,
"Okay." And they gave me every title of each chapter for the book and the contents. So much so vivid that when I woke up, I was scrambling for like a paper and pen to write it down, so I wouldn't forget it. So it really came to me, because, and I think I was open
mhm,
to give this information to whoever needs it, because I always say, the universe runs to me and through me.
mhm, mhm.
So I think it just had to happen.
I love it. When you say that this came, to you and you had to scramble and everything and you had the dream, where do you think this came from? Where do you think the
Source,
book Go ahead.
whatever, source, energy, something outside of me, if you want to call it God, source, whatever you believe in.
Mhm.
I talk about in the book, but you have a ton of personal power. People are so much more powerful
Yeah,
than they realize. It's
yeah.
a bit scary, actually,
Mhm,
if you really tap into it. But that
mhm.
comes from somewhere. We're all connected, and the connection is, in my terminology, is source. So I believe that came from source.
And when you said earlier, before you start talking about your book, I wanted to ask about this. You said, "Don't ask for an easier life, ask for harder, challenges, ask for solutions, don't necessarily ask for money." And I kept thinking, who are you asking? Who do you want to ask?
Source, source,
Source? This is
source.
what Okay. And you also mentioned when you're talking about your book, and I love Believing Before Seeing is a great title. Believing Before Seeing is fantastic. Um, what exactly are you believing before you see it? If somebody again is watching and they're thinking about opening a business, or they got a business and maybe they're struggling because they went through COVID and they got some
Mm.
disability going on, and there's all kind of challenges, economic uncertainty. We can list all kind of things. How do they believe, and what do they believe in before they actually see it?
Well, I would say first, you believe in yourself,
Yeah.
because if you can't believe in yourself, you can't believe in anything outside that you can't see.
Yeah.
No matter what that is, you have to believe in yourself. You didn't get this far. I mean, we've heard this before. You didn't get this far just to come this far. You're able to shift, you're able to pivot, you are able to make things happen. And though you might get kicked down many times, you might get kicked down many, many times, the times that you get up are the most powerful times. You got to keep getting up no matter what. And it's hard for a lot of people. Everyone has different challenges. I know a lot of people with very challenging lives, and they are thriving, thriving, thriving. And it almost makes you a little envious or jealous. Not even jealous. It makes me want to step up my game, because
Yeah.
they're doing amazing, awesome things, and they have a lot more challenges than
Yeah.
I do. There's no excuses.
Yeah. And that is exactly true. When we think about our own problems and then we read about somebody who doesn't have legs, or somebody that's dealing with some sort of incurable or what seems to be incurable illness, we go, man, we got it easy. We have it
Absolutely.
easy compared to
Absolutely.
yeah, to somebody else here. You also talked about energy bending, and boy, that's something that just kind of leaps out of your voice, and it's in your book, Believing Before Seeing. What is energy bending? Why would you want to bend energy?
Well, you're really bending it to your will.
Oh, interesting. Oh, tell us how you bent some energy to your will. What did you make happen?
Well, and it's also something called, like time lapsing, I think. It just
Mhm,
you're cutting the time in half. So
mhm,
you can request that. You can request time to be cut in half. You can request things to be done faster for you, and also be open to things being done faster. Example would be, I was just talking to a friend. She was reading my book. She was asking me questions about it, and she's asked me about winning the lottery.
mhm,
And um, she wrote down a couple things, and I said, you may want to change this thing and change that thing, because you're capping it. You're capping your requests, and you want to keep it open. And I said,
Mhm.
and when do you want to win this? And she said, like, I've been playing, but like maybe in a few years. I said, why not in the next 2 months?
I love it. I love it.
And when you want it, it's going to come. And then also ever- things are. Then I also on the other side that believe in timing, and not always our timing is divine timing.
Yes, yes.
Because if everything was in our timing, nothing would be interesting or fun, because we'd have everything now.
Right.
We'd
It'd
have
all be
everything.
over. The game would be over. We got it
Yes.
now. We're done.
Yes, we'd have everything yesterday, and then it would be boring.
Yeah.
Because once, as you know, once you get something that you've been holding on a pedestal for a long time, like
Mhm.
I know you like cars, Dr. Joe. I know you like guitars.
Right,
So,
right.
if when you got this certain car that you wanted for a long time, I promise you, probably the next day or the day after that, you're probably like, cool, all right, next.
Yeah. Right, right. It happens pretty quick. It happens pretty quick. You're
I've heard
right.
it so many times. I had a friend on my show years ago, and he has a diamond company. He wanted a Bentley for so long, because he had it on the pedestal for so long. He finally got his Bentley. Literally the next day, he was bored with it. So I've heard this story so many times. That's why things are sometimes delayed. And
He got the wrong model of Bentley because it takes longer to get bored with the Bentley. Listen, there's a couple other things that you brought these up. So when I asked about it, and I want to mention something, it's a compliment to you. I wrote a book called Money Loves Speed. And I say, and I'm in
I
the
love
movie The
that book.
Secret saying the universe loves speed.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a philosophy, and I put it out there. When you and I first spoke and you offered me the opportunity to have this show, Zero Limits Living, and I agreed to it, I said I wanted a few months to think about it. And you immediately came back and said, no, why don't we start next week? And and I never forgot it. I started laughing, and you didn't know why I was laughing, but it was like you outsped the speedster. I was the guy telling everybody, "No, do it faster, collapse time, money loves speed, the universe loves speed." And when push comes to shove and you say, "Hey, when you want to start?" And I'm like, "In a few months." You're like, "No, next week."
Yes, now.
And we did start the next week.
Yes.
There was no reason for delay.
I have that book, Money Loves Speed, and I love that book so much.
Believing Before Seeing, a new book by Candice Bar, teaching you how to believe into existence. Available now for pre-order.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. The other thing you brought up, and I hear this question all the time, so we have to address it. How do you win the lottery? How do you win the lotto? The lotto in America has been going up a couple times to $500 million.
Mhm.
Billion. This is
It's
crazy.
amazing. It's amazing.
And so you've got your book, Believe It Before Seeing. You got people asking you about it. I got people asking me on airplanes. If they saw me
Mhm.
in the movie The Secret, they'll turn to me and say, hey, how do I win the lottery?
Mhm.
What do you advise somebody if they're really sitting there right now and they're going, I want to win the lottery? How do I win the lottery? How do I bend energy or do any kind of mojo that Candace has? What would you say?
The first thing I say is, do you really?
Yeah.
Do you really? Because do you know what that entails? Do you know what that
Yeah.
takes? There's so much
Hmm. Yeah.
responsibility behind it.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're gonna do with that money? Like, do you know, like, there's so much that you're not thinking about. Like, that's like saying, I wanna fly. Like, could I fly if I really yeah, we could. We actually can do anything.
Hmm.
But it's like, you don't really believe you can, so you don't.
Yep. There's that.
And then you decide to become a victim.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, it doesn't work." No, it works, because people win the lottery every day. You hear people winning every single day. So people do win, but why are you not winning?
And what I do with the lottery thing is all of what you said, which is brilliant. But I also go to the extent of asking, why do you want to win? What is
Mm,
the money for?
mm,
Pointing out that you don't want the lottery. You want what you think it's going to bring you.
mm.
And very often when they say they want the money, they're going to pay their bills and everything. What they're actually saying is they want security.
Yeah.
They want to know I'm safe in some way. And I'm like, well, once you find out what you really want, that's what you use all the focus and the vision and the affirmations and intention and vision boards and magic mojo and this, that, and the other, whatever the spells are, you use it on what you actually want. The lotto
Yes.
is a means to an end, and everybody throws it around, as you say, without any thought,
Also, they
without
think
going.
I think they think things life would be easier. And again, it goes back to, we're not looking for an easy life, and you're definitely not going to have an easier life once you win the lotto.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You
I don't know
know,
why everyone's looking for easy. I'm not
well,
sure.
that's what I wanted to hit on for a minute, because I think everybody is looking for easy. There's people that talk about wanting the easy button. They want to slap the easy button and they want the escalator. And I've talked about wanting things easy because I've gone through hard times too. And it's like, who doesn't want to find the escalator through life, or find the easy button and slap it and have things be resolved?
Right.
So what is a deeper look? I know we've been talking about it, but it's worth looking at a little more closely. Why should we not want an easy life, but a more challenging life? What is the real reason for that?
Is it a laziness? Is it a
I
level of laziness?
Well, I would say, yeah, because the average person, I mean, geez, they want to watch
Very
TV,
late.
eat Doritos, and
Yes.
drink beer, or whatever the average
And
person
then
does.
they're
You're not.
like, why am I not, why am I not 120 pounds when
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
just your actions and your wants or intentions are not aligning.
yeah.
It all goes together. Like it all has to go together, or it doesn't work.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
You
not
said,
sure why everyone's going for easy. Like my favorite sayings, I have two favorite sayings.
yeah.
One of them is run toward the fire, because that's what I like to do. And the other one is build the plane as you fly it.
Wow, wow. Well, since my nickname is Mr. Fire, I like that you're saying I'm going to run towards the fire. Come
Go,
on.
Joe, go.
Those are so good. Again, you are very different in your thinking from the masses that are out there, which is probably the revelation for everybody to realize, is that this is why you have this roster of success and a new book and your
Mm.
studios and all these things you're doing and all the ones we haven't even talked about. It's because you're thinking differently. You're believing in yourself. You're also very realistic in the sense of that you're talking about bending energy, but you're also talking about facing the challenges that come.
Yes.
It's not like you're trying to bypass them.
I heard something very recently and I was like, my mind just went, yes. I don't know the man who said this, but it was an entrepreneur. And he said, when anyone comes to him on his team with an issue or problem, and it's daily, again, when you're an entrepreneur, it's daily issues and problems. I'm not trying, please understand, there's a lot of stuff you have to go through.
Yeah.
Understand
Yeah.
that. Every day his assistant was coming to him like, we have this issue, we have this problem, and some of them were really major issues and problems. And his answer was always good, good.
Oh, wow.
No
Nice.
reaction, nothing after good, just good. And then after a while, the assistant was like, after some major issues and problems, he'd always answer good. And the assistant's like, why do you keep answering good? Why do you say good? He's like, because it makes me learn and we can get through it quicker. And that's why it's good. Like
That's a great.
bring it on.
Yeah. That's a great story. Well, there's a young man in Thailand who had brought me there to a speaking engagement. His name is Andres Pira. He
Mm.
had been homeless 15 years before I met him. When I did meet him, he was 35 years old and he was a billionaire. Billionaire at
Wow.
35. Yeah.
Wow.
And he brought me over because he was saying he owed it all to me. And I didn't know him. He read my books and he saw The Secret. And he said he had 20 businesses. It was operating everything from his cell phone. And I was in awe. This guy's 35. And I
Yes.
said, how do you handle all the businesses, 20 businesses, and all the things going on? And at your age, I mean, daily problems must be there when you wake up. And he said something I never forgot. He said, I kind of like problems. He says, when the problems come in, I look at it as a chess game. It's
Mm.
like somebody moved the piece, and now I have to think of how to strategically move the piece in another way so I can win the game.
Yes.
And I never forgot that his mindset was different than mine, because my mindset was, this would crush me. This
Mm.
is too much. This is too challenging. 20 businesses is way too much. And I'm 70. He was 35 doing this.
Mm.
And the age difference maybe gave him a little bit of strength and endurance to do it, but he didn't have the experience to do it. Still,
Mm.
his mindset was, I kind of like problems.
I love
I
it.
never forgot it. It's the same attitude you bring to the table, where you're not you're running to the fire. You're not
So let's
running from the
go.
problems.
Let's go. I'm not scared. I'm not
I,
scared.
I love this. Now, I have learned that you can achieve results in life when you have somebody who believes in you almost more than you believe in yourself.
Mm.
You did mention, and you say that's in your book about mentors who have helped you, and one, of course, is gone. Do you still have a mastermind or mentors or strategists or allies or therapists? Do you still have some sort of support system on the days you wake up? I'm assuming there's days you wake up and it's like, I'm not quite fortified for today's challenge.
Mm. Absolutely. I'm a huge advocate of mentors.
Mhm,
And I think, in my opinion, I
mhm,
think having paying mentors that you pay are really
yeah,
valuable. I think you
mhm,
should, the second you can do that, you should do that. And your mentor is always going to be changing because you're hopefully going to be leveling up really quickly. So you
yeah,
have to have a mentor. How I pick, people ask me this a lot. How do I pick my mentors? I pick my mentors by, if I would switch my life with someone, who would I switch my life with?
yeah,
And are they someone who masters that field? Like, does that look really is their life actually like that? I don't want you telling me pretty words and pretty things, because I can feel when you're BSing me. Like, I find someone who also likes the challenge, who also has been at it, very difficult life as well, and really rose to the occasion. I love that. Like, bring that
mhm,
to me every day. So right now, yeah, I do have, my mentor right now is Elena Cardone, actually.
mhm. Oh,
And
okay, yes.
yeah. So, and then again, throughout life, I've had different mentors, and like, they've all been really great. I had one mentor that helped me like level up my packages like crazy, like, your money mindset, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Amazing money mindset coach. Another mentor was more for spirituality. You have pockets of people
yeah.
for different
Mhm,
things. Like, you have an accountant, right? You have a
mhm,
lawyer, right? So,
mhm,
or a legal team. Like, you have different people for different things that serve your life.
mhm. This is amazing. You are obviously going for the stars. I was gonna say you're shooting for the moon, but you're going way beyond the moon. You're shooting for the stars. Do you feel comfortable in sharing on what the next level of a goal is for you? I mean, you have a media empire going on here. Are you going to have a studio on Mars next? I mean, where are you going, if you don't mind sharing something to do?
I don't know if we'll have a studio again. So, as I think my 2020 baby was, we built out a studio on Rodeo Drive during
Yes.
2020,
Yeah.
which was amazing. That was the first studio ever allowed on Rodeo Drive ever, um,
Wow.
ever. And that was the first studio fully owned by a female in the United States ever. And we had that for a while. And I have to tell you, I have a gypsy spirit. And I like to travel, and I like to be able to go when I want to go, like jump on a plane and go now. So the studio was great. It was great for marketing. It was an experience. It did what we wanted it to do. But me and my team, and again, I have the best team in the world. We just like to be able to go, go, go. So very mobile. But to answer your question, going into 2024, because the book is out now, so we have been planning the book tour. We've been planning a lot of stuff around the book, and certain things, an offshoot of the book. The book was written to be a series, so we're already
Oh,
going into the second book right now.
oh, great, great.
So, and then, I used to teach courses on how to network properly and how to turn your contacts into profit instantaneously. So I think we're going to revive that as well, and I think I want to do a couple of cruises with that,
Oh,
because I love cruises. So
yeah, yeah, nice, nice.
so I don't know if I like to have fun. We do heavy business, but I like to have fun. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. So I like to mix fun with business and all the stuff, while handling a bunch of different things. And I want to say this. I said this on my women's event we just had, and I don't think people are aware of this, or if they need to hear it. Our capacity is quite large. We can
Mm,
handle a lot. We can handle more than we know. We can handle a lot. You can handle it. So when people tell you you can do one thing, I think, I don't know if I subscribe to that, because I think doing one thing is great and building that, and then you can build other things. But
mm,
if you're able to, because a lot of people are, you can do multiple things and do them well if you have a good team behind you.
yes.
Because it's not done alone. You're the visionary, you're the one, putting it together. You are doing a lot of things, but you never do it alone. And to say that I did it alone would be ridiculous, and I would never say that. But your capacity is quite large. So if you want to do a couple things, you can.
You are remarkable. We're going to be running out of time because somebody on your team just sent me a note. But I'm going to sneak in some questions here. One of them that I always like to ask a guest, so you may know this one is coming. The show's called Zero Limits Living. Do you believe we have any limits, Miss Energy Bender?
The only limits is, you probably hear all the time, you put on yourself. It's no one else's fault. No one else is doing it to you. You're doing it to yourself.
Mm-hmm. And what is the question you were hoping I would ask? When you knew we were going to be talking, were you thinking, oh, I really, rubbing your hands together, I really hope he asked this, or I really I want to talk about this. What's the subject or question you wanted to really
it's a good question. I wasn't thinking that, but it's a good question. I think a good question, sometimes I ask people this and it kind of throws them off, is what would people be surprised to hear about you?
Yeah, that's a good question. What would
And
people be surprised to hear about you besides salsa dancing? And
I love salsa.
yeah,
I would think they might be surprised, if they're just being introduced to me from this show. I think they might be surprised that I'm actually quite the introvert. Very
I would
much
be
so.
surprised. I
Very
would be
much,
surprised.
very
Yeah.
much so. Very much so. Like I had
Oh,
my women's event last Thursday. I'm still
okay.
recuperating from that. So I like to be alone a lot, like more than most people I know. I really love antiquing and thrifting. Like
Yeah.
it like makes my palms sweat. It's a problem. Like I'm actually I'm quite the homebody, to be on, like, really honestly.
Mhm. And in your home, do you have antiques, and are you salsa dancing in there?
I'm we got the antiques, we got the salsa dancing going on, we got everything, Joe.
That is fantastic. Uh, this I want to ask this question, but I don't know if there's enough time to really answer it. I'm really curious to know: is there a difference between men and women being in business? We
Absolutely.
always hear men. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please. Sorry.
No, I just want to know, is there a difference between men and women being in business? Because we hear about women and men being different. And we have John Gray, men are from women or from Mars and women
Mm-hmm.
are from Venus or whatever the planets are. And
Mm-hmm.
they make it sound like it's really completely different. As a guy, maybe I'm missing something. Is it different or maybe it's easier? What is your take when you see men and women in business? What is your take as a woman?
It's been my experience. I can't speak for everybody, but it's been
Yeah.
my experience that I do believe it's different from what I've experienced throughout my
Hmm.
life. So that's why, mostly because we do PR. I've been doing PR the
Yeah.
longest.
Yeah.
I mostly represent female entrepreneurs, and that's kind of been my whole career.
Mhm.
Women have helped build the company quite a bit, much more than men. Um, do we have, we have you on we have produced your show. You're fabulous. We do have men here and there, but
Mhm.
it's been primarily females.
Mhm.
And I never really knew why that was. To answer
Mhm.
the question, the short answer is from my experience, I think it's very different being a female entrepreneur or a male entrepreneur. And I'll tell you this, because if female entrepreneurs, if you ever want to get a loan, getting a loan as an entrepreneur in general, good luck.
Yeah.
Because it's like talking about air, basically. But it being a female, and I've had someone tell me this, someone who worked at a bank and did loans, and he said they almost never give loans, especially to female entrepreneurs, because they think that we're emotional with money.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I actually would have said I think men are more emotional with money,
Mm.
but obviously you can find selections in both categories
Mhm.
and examples for both. Listen, we're going to run out of time. Where do they get your book, Believing Before Seeing?
So you guys, right now you can get it directly. So I will sign it. I even got Polaroid, so I'll send you a picture of me with the book and I'll put it in the book for you. They can
That's great.
contact us directly, Candice Bar on Instagram, LuxLife_CB, Candice Bar, you'll find me. Lux Media Studios, Lux Life Magazine, it all goes to my team. We will get it to you directly, but shortly it will be in all the places that you can get books. It will be there very shortly. So
And then you're going to have a follow-up book at some point in 2024, I would
yes.
guess.
So yeah, it's going to be a series, and it's always written to be for a series. So just think of kind of like Chicken Soup for the Soul, but more
Mhm.
energy forward and for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. And do you take on clients? Do you mentor other people? You obviously have mentors, but you turn around and do it for others,
So it's started that has started without me trying to do that.
right?
Um, so back, a couple of years ago, if someone said I was their mentor, I'd immediately shut them down. Like, I'm not your mentor. I'll be your friend, but I'm not your mentor, because I found that to be an incredible responsibility over someone's life. But now, where I am now in life and what I've been through, I'm good with that. I'm good with letting people know what's what and kind of helping direct their life,
Mhm.
because again, I was lucky enough to have such great mentors. I think it's a great way to pass it on.
You know, you are an amazing woman. I am grateful that you and I connected. I am grateful that you've given me this opportunity. I joyfully interview people I select for Zero Limits Living every week, but it wouldn't happen without you doing it or giving me the opportunity. So I'm very grateful. I also want to say I love your book. Obviously, I wrote the intro to it. I didn't know there was going to be a series. I can't wait to see the whole series and to
Thank
plant
you.
a seed in your mind because you are a successful and powerful and visionary woman. I would love to see you offer some sort of powerhouse weekend workshops or even a week long one on a cruise ship where
Hmm.
people pay you really good money and they're all women. Maybe I can be a speaker or something, but the idea is to get them all in one place and let them feel your energy because you are a lightning bolt. You got a lot of voltage and let them experience your wisdom because you have a lot to share with people. I
Thank you,
would
Joe.
love to see
Let's do it, Joe. Let's do
that.
it.
And I know you're going to say next week, right?
Thank you. I
Candace,
appreciate that so much. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for having me on.
of
And
course.
you've been so great. Thank you for all your books and all the knowledge and all the work you've done. I have followed you before we started producing your show for years. Of course, The Secret, and you've just been such a blessing to not only myself but the world. Really, there's a lot of people that you have helped their lives tremendously. So thank you for you and all you do.
Thank you. I take it in my heart. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, everybody, you've been watching Zero Limits Living. You can now see it or hear it on 1,000 different places, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, or just go to zerolimitslivingtv.com. Check out Miracles Coaching, my latest book, unexpectedkindnessbook.com. I want to thank Candice Bar, who I've just been interviewing here for the very first time. And it's the longest time I got to spend with her, so I'm giddy here. And I would thank Lux Media Studios, Nick's running the camera and everything. And I thank all of you for tuning in. Tell the world about this. Go out there and follow your vision because anything is possible. Expect miracles.